Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. My name is Lynn. I'm your host. Today's date is June 12th, 2015. So welcome and happy Friday. As you can see, I'm in yet a new place, and thanks for joining. I hope you have a project. Simply Colorful FiberCast is just all about us doing something that we can feel good about and create for 60 minutes on a Friday night. So that's where I'm at. I'm actually still here with my mother, who's doing great, by the way. I want to report that right off the bat. Thank you, everyone, for your well wishes. She is just doing amazingly, wonderfully well, and so we're having some fun. It's time to have some fun now. Busy week, but now I'm here in what used to be my father's studio, and it's also the garage. And I'm here. I thought I would make a doll. So I started it, and I thought I would show you a little bit of that, move forward with it a little bit without goofing it up. We'll see. And then I also have some new clay that I wanted to start to create another doll. I want to try my hand at a ball jointed doll. And because of the internet connectivity, or actually more likely the phone cell service down here, I'm not going to take any emails, or I'm not going to check the messages. So it's going to be one of those nights where we're just working here in the studio. I hope you have something fun to play with. Post pictures. You can always post them on Simply Colorful, and share them with everyone. Love to see them. But tonight we're just going to power through and hopefully, knock on wood, create something that we like. So here's what I have done. When I got the bug in my bonnet, or the bee in my bonnet, a few days ago, I guess before I went off island for my dental excursion, I wanted to start to make a doll, and Mom found some Sculpey clay that we had used, and she had used years ago to make some ornaments. And she had some white and some pink and some purples and some canes that she'd already created. And so I played with making a little head, and you can see tonight we're going to put the hair on the head, so she's kind of, she's covered in plastic. It reminded me of the days of old when you used to get a perm and you would have plastic all over you. And so she's at the point where I'm putting glue on her head so that then I can start to glue some fiber to it to make her hair. So that's one thing I wanted to do right away. And then, of course, it has to sit and dry. And then once that's all done, I'll fill up her cavity, and then, which I'm pretty pleased with, and I put that on. So in the last hour, I have created, so here are the two legs, and I created soft tops and filled them. So those are her two legs. And I kind of want her to be not like maybe like a tilde doll. So kind of longer legs and longer limbs. She's more whimsical. She's not going to be true to proportioned like the ball jointed doll that I'm going to try and make. Her hands, I made them two different. This one is gripping something so she can be holding some flowers, and this is just an open palm one. And since it's summer and we're here at the beach, I found a beach chair at AC Moore when I was off island, and I thought it might be fun just to make a real summer doll. She's going to have, I thought, bright clothing, although when I show you the clothing that I'm thinking of putting on her, it's not that bright at all. And then I went and I picked up some rocks at Menemsha that I really like. They're all this rusty, orangey color. So somehow we'll do that, and we're just going to make a doll. So what I thought I would do, and I know this isn't quilting, but I did sew a little bit, and you see the sewing machine is here. I brought my new brother that I brought to the retreat in March. I brought that down. I left my Bernina at home, and this was perfect. It's exactly what I wanted it to do, is be able to just cart that machine with me. So my excursion off island, I hope everyone's had a good week. I know if you're like me, it feels like at work, well, of course, the end of the quarter in sales for us is the end of June. So, of course, we've got all of those pressures. Lots of angst in the system, people wanting to close out sales for the quarter. And it feels like people are just trying to get some things done before the holiday, before summer holiday. So I don't know if you all are experiencing that. So I'm literally using Mod Podge to create my plastic cap that I can take on and off. And it acts like glue. And I've been doing multiple coats for the past hour or so, so I guess that's not too many, but it does seem to dry very fast. So I thought if we put this on, I can start to put some of the fiber on, and then we can move on to something else. That's what, in my limited experience of doll making so far, has been you have to be patient and go from things have to settle or dry, so you can't. I find maybe having a couple of dolls going at the same time, which who doesn't love a couple of projects going at the same time, is the way to go. Otherwise, you're waiting for a long time in between, and it can get kind of boring. So hopefully, actually, why don't I just pull out what I'm thinking for the different colors. There we go. So I have some merino wool in different colors that I got up in Henniker at the Fiber Loft. See those merino wool colors in rovings? They're all the strands have been put in a nice place, all straightened out. And I kind of like that for a hair color. It's kind of a light brown. And then I was thinking, needless to say, we don't need this much. And then I was looking in what fabric I have here, which isn't that much, and I love this very light green, which isn't as bright as I thought maybe we'd do, but I was thinking literally maybe doing a shirt out of that and then a jumper out of that green. So very delicate. And then literally I have some leather, and I was thinking maybe I could make her some flip-flops, and then we would go from there. So it's kind of pretty together. You know, and maybe the chair could be a darker green, or it could be stained a oak color or a maple color. So that's what I'm thinking. So why don't we just pull off a little of this fiber. And I have to say, in my limited experience, I've only had moderate success with putting doll hair on. See how all the fibers are going the same way? That's what a good roving is. Now, did you know that you can take a little piece of this and wind it around a toothpick, and then put it in hot water, and then let it sit for a while, then pull it out and let it dry, and it will curl into the most pretty ringlet. And now here's the question, do I cut this? I think I am going to try to cut a piece in half. And yes, I watched this on YouTube, so I watched someone else do this. So now I've got my wet glue there, and I'm literally going to use my brush and some more Mod Podge. Oh yeah. Very cool, you guys, very cool. And I've put the first layer of her hair in. Oh, what a crack up. So, I'm going to do it here. Not quite sure how you build it up on the top, but we'll see how we go here. Oh, it just mats into place very nicely. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is prepare. In fact, I am going to cut, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to prepare pieces. So it's been so fun to get everyone's emails. Mache, I want to shout out to Mache. I was wondering how you were doing, and I hadn't heard from you in a few weeks. And I just wanted to wish you well. And for others out there, Mache says hi, and she has relearned that sunscreen is important. And who amongst us has not decided, oh, I can go out and do a little gardening in the spring. I don't need suntan lotion. And the truth is, in the spring, when there aren't the leaves, the sun is very brutally strong. So I'm glad to hear you're doing better, Mache, and that all is well. Hopefully you're feeling up to getting back outside or to... So now I'm going to cut these in half. Back to your sewing in your vintage machines, which I love to see. So now that I have a few of these all set up, it should be faster. And they really do just mat right down. I figure I'll make her hair longer and then I can always trim it. I think we've talked about that before. Remember in the 70s, was it, maybe it was Chatty Cathy, but there was a doll whose hair would pull up out of the center and it would get long. And for all you textile tarts who are out there, I'm sure you're saying, no, that wasn't her name. Now I'm just going around. And I'm going up in a layer now. And this is probably one of those things that can be overworked. And I just need to learn to be patient, I think, probably. If that makes sense. I'm going to try and let the fiber do the work for us because it's so beautiful. The fiber and the glue. Can you hear the crickets outside? Ah, I know right now she looks like a witch. I don't want her to be scary like. And I'm definitely covering up her ears for good or bad. Who watched the Belmont? Wasn't that exciting to have a Triple Crown winner? Mom and I watched it here, and it was fun. Of course, we did notice there was a lot of anticipation and build-up to a very short race, but it was still fun nonetheless. And Mom has been making the most delicious, from scratch, pot stickers. You know, the Chinese food type pot stickers? Yum. KB, if you're out there, definitely ask Mom to make you some. They're really good. riot. So you could have in A Christmas Carol, you could have a bald-headed man with hair coming down. What a crack up. Okay, maybe we did need more hair than I thought. Okay. I'm just going to hopefully, you can kind of see it. And I'm going to pull out another string of this hair. There. That back. Hopefully the signal's okay. Out here in the garage, that's another thing. We've had a busy week. So here, again, Mom has been doing her different rehabilitation things. She's walking unbelievably far distances. She went up to the center of town today and is doing all of those exercises. And anyway, what was I going to say? What else did we do? Oh, well, this isn't what I was going to talk about, but I went off island in the middle of the week. Had 3 dentist appointments in one day. And it was wonderful to see Bob, who is doing band tonight, and hopefully we'll be down in a few days. We're realizing that, and I guess I've always known this, but since he's a realtor, he does a lot of his work late in the later part of the week. Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. So then Tuesdays and Wednesdays are when he has time and he can take a break. So he'll come down. It's not ideal for my work, but just having him here is great. We'll all be diggity-doggity. I could literally probably put this hair back on itself and make a beautiful bun if I wanted. But again, I kind of wanted her to be, I want her to be a young doll, I think. So who gets the, speaking of young and old, who gets the AARP magazine? I was vindicated. I don't know if that's the word. But come to find out, there's an article in this month's magazine that shows how Dr. Ruth is a doll collector. She has a couple of doll houses in her house, in her New York place. And she describes how when she had to flee Germany, when she was a young child, she was able to bring one doll with her, but really and ultimately she gave that doll away to someone else who was crying. I mean, it's just a heartwarming story. But now, as an adult, so now she discovered that in her adult life, when she traveled, she would pick up various dolls on her travels and bring them home, and now she displays them in these nice, they're not very big or ostentatious, they're just at least a couple of pictures they show of her doll houses, and she would put them in there. And she has dolls from the 30s or in between the wars, because that's the time period that she can relate to, and she said she just likes to look at them. So there you go. How's that for a hair? All right, let's do one more, and then we can move on to something else. And like I say, this is probably the right time to leave well enough alone and see, you know what, I'm going to do that and see how it all dries. Okay, so that is the top of Scary Lady. Okay, I'm going to put these aside. Close this up. So now, that's one doll. Now separately, I also was looking on YouTube, and I was seeing how there are BJD, ball jointed dolls. And you can buy them. They're quite expensive from, I don't know where they're coming from. China, maybe? So, I thought, and I watched a few things, including how to string a ball jointed doll. So basically, a ball jointed doll is kind of like this drawing doll. It's exactly what this is, although not quite. In a ball jointed doll, there's actually a piece of elastic, an elastic band of sorts that goes through here, through the arms and through the chest, and then one that goes down the legs up through the head. And the actual elastic holds all of the things together, and the balls at each joint allow you to bend the doll. So the pieces are much like this, and that's what I'm going to try to make right now with this new clay that I got that is air dry clay. And I have another kind that I have liked in the past, creative paper clay. But I saw this on another YouTube video and I thought, what the heck? Oh, you poor people out there watching this. FiberCast has changed, that's for sure, huh? But let's give this a try. And you know, and no matter who is out there watching this, I'm appreciative that you're out there, and I hope that you're doing something that maybe you wouldn't have if we hadn't had FiberCast, because I know if I didn't have FiberCast, I would not be working and doing anything right now. So thank you for getting me motivated to do something. Okay, so one key, and I didn't really prepare very well, is this stuff dries out really fast. So what I'm going to do is break off a piece, and I probably should make sure my area is really clean and free of dust, which I've not done yet, but that's okay. And I'm just going to put this in here as quickly as I can. Get all the air out of it. Okay. So here we have paper mache clay. And here is my head. I'm literally going to put this paper mache on. It's not sticking to it very well. But I guess it's just a matter of pushing it together. And the thought is that after this dries, which, by the way, you can sand, you can sculpt when it's wet, you can carve this stuff. But after it's dry, I'm going to cut the head off, and it will be hollow. We'll take this ball out. I guess it would help if I put my glasses on. Let's read this clay. Ooh, it's drying my hands. Modeling material, it's air hardening. Says nothing else. All right. So, okay. I'll leave that for now. Then I have, again, everything has to be hollow so that the elastic can go through these ball jointed dolls. So I'm going to make the legs on this. Now what happens if I get it wet? My goodness, these are wrinkly legs. I want them smoother than that. Well, I'm going to try the other clay. I've used that before. Let's see if that's any more clingy. This feels like it has a little more elasticity to it. Put a little water in it. I'm used to this paper clay. Yeah, I'm liking it a little better. Seems to hold a little bit more. But overall, I guess it's good when I wet it. Maybe we're supposed to dry it a little bit and then layer clay on top. In one video I saw, you literally made the whole leg together in one piece, and then you cut it and put in the ball joint. Cut it and then create a third ball joint. It's probably not a good idea to mix my clays though, although it wouldn't matter. Look at how that is stretching. Crazy. Taking it off. I'm going to get it all wet. Talk about mixed media tonight, huh? Maybe that's what's needed. So now I'll try to stick something like this thin dowel through it. Oh, that's better. Now as I stretch it out, on the YouTube video it looked so much easier. But we can do it. So I'm trying to taper it down a little bit to make the knee. Trying to knead it all together. See if that works. Well, we're trying something new. And I probably should have made sure to measure the balls of clay so I could get some symmetry. But this is less than maybe we're supposed to sand it a lot. Maybe the YouTube video I saw had already been quite sanded. Making this one thinner. I don't want her to have thick ankles. Ankles, as they're also known. If we have too many more nights like this, we may have to go back to quilting. But I appreciate everyone hanging in there. I hope you're working on projects while we experiment here. I hope it's a beautiful summer night where you are. This is just not working well. But I tell you what, I'll finish. Let's see, so this is the bottom of one leg, the top of one leg, Then this will be the top of the other leg. And I'll do a bottom of a leg here. And I think I'll be able to tell which is which. We've got two different clays going. Let's see if one works better than the other. Got too much clay. So if you can picture it, those are the two thighs and these are the two lower legs. Oh, you know, I should have told everyone. I finished the Dear Jane, the 2 blocks we did the last 2 weeks, and I documented them. So they're in the pile. So that felt good to get those done. At least I accomplished something concrete. Tomorrow I'm going to walk up to a garage sale that's happening at the old mill. It's the garden club garage sale, and I hear they still may have some vegetable plants or some plants for sale. So if anyone is around, go on up. I think it starts at 10, and I saw in the paper last night, no early birds. Meanwhile, tonight there's an auction up at the Old Grange for Windermere. Silent auction, or probably all different kinds of auctions, so that's fun. And again, I hope everyone takes time to enjoy their summer. Summer really is, even though what the calendar will officially tell us next week, but we can pretend it's summer. It sure is starting to feel like it. Next weekend is Father's Day. Don't forget. And let's see, what else? For anyone who still has graduation, have a blast. And let's see, I know there are weddings going on. Oh, and I have had a foray into paper clay that I'm not sure has been all that satisfying yet. But let's see how it goes. So, I think with that, I'm going to wish everyone a good night. Thanks for joining me on another unusual FiberCast. We're just going to see where this doll making takes us. by next week, I should have this doll put together, and I will post a picture of her online. So again, thanks for joining. Have a great weekend. Do something creative. It's amazing what we can get done together in 60 minutes. Bye, everyone.